Yo, what's good, guys? No Life. Henry here. I'm coming at y'all with a Midnight M plus DPS tier list. So, if you guys haven't seen my other tier list video, that one was based, as I said in that video, that one was based solely off of fun. This tier list is going to be an actual tier list based on DPS and performance in M plus, both in Midnight and in pre-patch. Primarily Midnight. Here we go. This is my personal thoughts on this is every single spec, including the brand new one, Devourer. Okay, so every single spec, tanks, healers, DPS, every spec. We're just gonna go in order from AF to the new DH spec. Okay, here we go. So right now, AF is absolute S tier. I mean, dude, if you have a big pack, if you have AF, Frost Mage, just really like any like big boom with just AF alone, like dude, AF is so good right now. Most likely going to get nerfed, at least right now. Absolute fucking god tier. I mean, it is unreal how much damage you can do with AF currently. And by the way, Blizzard, thank you for getting Malphite Rapture out of the fucking game. Nobody liked that ability. Thank you so much for getting that shit out of the game. Next is Arcane Mage. So, Arcane is still good. In my opinion, Arcane is A tier. If you look at Archon and all that stuff, it says like kind of like low, mid, B tier. I think it's A tier. Now, just because it's an A tier, that does not mean it's like godly. No, there is other specs that are way better than Arcane currently. Right? And keep in mind that this Midnight has not come out yet. Okay? But from what we've seen, okay, this is, as I said, pre-patch Midnight kind of deal, right? So Arcane, in my opinion, is S tier, S tier, A tier, but it is on the low end of A tier, okay? There are like 6 other specs that come ahead of Arcane by a mile, okay? But be A tier for Arcane. Still very good in AoE, very good in single target. It's just, it's not as powerful as the other specs, okay? Next is Arms. I'm going to keep it a stack with you. Okay, people were saying that Arms was going to be good. Arms is low B. Arms is, it can still do pretty solid damage. But Arms, it's just not there, man. I cannot recall one spec where Arms was S tier. You know, poor Arms, man. Dude, you know, Arms is, it's just not there. Like, you do good AoE and, you know, kind of like good single target. But as I said, it's just not there, man. It's just not there. You can do more DPS with Prot than you can with Arms, if I'm being honest. This, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is Sin Rogue because where's okay, Outlaw? I don't know where Sub Rogue is. You didn't have to cut me off. We were nothing. So, okay, Sin Rogue. It is very bad. It is horrible. It is horrible. Right now, okay, this is current right now. It is very bad. It is awful, okay? For, like, yeah, it's, can you deal good AoE? Yes. Can you deal, you know, kind of-ish good single target? Yes. But you would do more damage with a Brewmaster, like you would do more damage with a 2-tank group than you would with 5 Sin Rogue. It's not the move. Sin Rogue is not the move, okay? Not the move, okay? And keep in mind, our Apex talents are not out. You know, there's a lot of shit that we are grabbing in Midnight. Apex talents, tier sets, all that stuff. So this will change over time, obviously. As I said, right now, this is it, okay? Sin Rogue is not it. Same kind of thing with Balance Druid. I think Balance Druid is more improved than Sin Rogue. But man, it's not looking good for these two. It's not. These two are in a rough shape currently. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty rough shape. Okay. BM Hunter. Okay, so you guys remember prior to pre-patch, the meta was Dark Ranger BM Hunter. That shit was out of fucking control. Now, it's not like that. BM I'm going to put it behind Arcane. It is still very good. You still deal great damage. It's just not as good as the top tier specs, okay? It is still a viable option if you're, I don't know, if you're trying to do keys for some reason, you know, all that stuff, okay? But yeah, it is still a pretty viable option. You have hero, you know, you have a lot of stuff that a hunter would have, right? So yeah, it's a pretty good option, right? Blood. Kind of in the same pool as arms. I'm not going to lie. Blood, man, it's just not there. It's just not, you know, it's just not, man. I like, you can still, man, you can still do like semi-good damage, but you would much rather have pretty much like any other tank other than Blood DK, if I'm being honest. Blood it's not the move. It's not the move at all. Brewmaster Monk. This one is actually kind of surprising. I'm going to put this one in A tier. Brewmaster can do a fuck ton of AoE. A lot, especially now in pre-patch. A lot of AoE. It's kind of crazy low-key. You can do a shit ton of damage too. As well. Plus, the overall tankiness of Brewmaster in comparison to Blood, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I mean, Blood is, you know, like, the tankiness, the DPS, how fast you are also. Monks are very fucking fast. Tiger's Lust, Roll, you know, there's a lot of shit they have. You know, they have Port. You can spec into speed after you Port. It's, like, dude, there are so many speed buffs with Monk from their kit that DK just does not have, right? So yeah, but just overall, very good tank. Demo Lock. People were saying this shit's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Right now, it's not very good. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. This spec is horrible right now. And by the way, just, you know, so we're 100% clear, okay? Can you pump on every single one of these specs? Yes. But the truth of the matter is you can pump way harder on AF than you can on arms. It's just how it is right now, you know what I'm saying? Unless you've played arms for like 20 fucking years and, you know, all that stuff. But even then, the point of the matter is this is based on DPS, right? And yeah, okay? Just we're 100% clear. So yeah, as I said, Demo Lock, not in the best spot. Still does great AoE, but it's not in the best spot. Destruction Lock. I'm gonna put this. I want to put this ahead of arms, but I'm gonna put this in between arms and blood. Destruction is still good. It's still, you don't run Hellcaller anymore. You run the other hero talent tree. It's still good. It's still pretty. It's still pretty solid. The AoE single target, all that stuff. It's still pretty solid. It's your casual lock. You know, just thing, right? You know, lock, just stuff. It's kind of the same thing as arms. Like, you would much rather have an AF lock than a Destro, or especially this one. It's Demo Lock is, I don't know how it's so bad right now. It's just that bad. But yeah, you would much rather have an AF in comparison to this or this. Devastation Evoker. Okay, so I can tell you right now, this spec is 100% going to get fucked at midnight. Okay, this spec is ridiculous, and the only reason it's not S tier is because these once I put all the S tier classes up there, all of them, you'll be able to understand why, and I'll explain why once. I'll explain the ratings. Okay, S tier is the best. A is close to best, but it's not the best. B is kind of ish good. C is not really good, and D is just absolutely fucking awful. Okay, just so we have a clear understanding. Okay, Dev is so close, so close to S tier, but it does not make it all the way up there. Okay, because the other S tier specs, they just deal more damage. It's just how it is, right? But yeah, as I said, Dev, fucking crazy good spec right now. Very fun as well. Very, very fun. Disc Priest, actually a low-key pretty solid healer right now. I think either way you're playing Woodweaver or Oracle, Disc is a pretty solid option right now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, no, I mean that's all I have. Really, that's all I have to say. I mean, whether Voidweaver, Oracle, yeah, it's just a really good option right now. So yeah, very, very good. Ellie Shaman, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Well, okay, I'm gonna put this in front of Destro luck. Because the reason is because I played Ellie for a while, so I can burst very high on Ellie and sustain that. But for the casual player who doesn't like play over and over and over, Ellie still is a good pick. It just does not bring that oomph that it had in season 3. Okay, it just don't. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's what they all have to say. Low key, I'm gonna be honest. Enhanced shaman. So I okay. 100% ahead of arms. Why can't I? Okay, 100% ahead of arms. Enhance. It deals more DPS than Ellie because of how Enhance just works right now. It's still not as good as ARS tier. It's not there, but it is still a very good and viable option. Okay, just Pharaoh Druid fucking sucks. Do not play this spec right now. Actually, I'm gonna put it ahead of Sin Rogue. Okay, it's not the worst, but it is very fucking horrible right now. It is awful. Keep in mind, this is for raid and M+. This is DPS across the board. Okay, right? Just okay. M+ specifically right now, and then I will make a raid one specific to raid after this one. But yeah, as I said, for M+, I kind of worded that wrong. I'm sorry, guys. This is for M+. That's all you need to know, right? So, Feral, fucking awful. In speaking of horribly awful, Fire Mage. Okay. So, you might be wondering, oh, well, I can burst for 100k. Yeah, but when you're outside of your combust window, you're doing AFK damage. You're doing like 5k DPS, 10k DPS. Dude, I don't know what they need to do to Fire, but they need to rework it. They need to do something with Fire. Because, oh my god, dude. Jesus, man. Dude, this spec is fucking horrendously awful. And it's not even funny. It's actually kind of embarrassing. Okay? But yeah. As for the other two specs, not the same. Frost. Oh my god. Okay? Frost Mage. Okay. Frost Mage is the complete opposite of Fire. Hence, you know what? You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put this ahead of Af here. Okay. Your Blizzard does a fuck ton of damage. Comet Storm does a fuck ton of damage. Your FFB, your Frostfire Bolt does a fuck ton of damage. Glacial Spike, a fuck ton of like Frozen Orb. Like literally every single thing that you cast in your kit will do a fuck ton of damage, and hence why Frost is ahead of Af. Af still does really, really insane damage, but there is a little bit of downtime. Frost, that downtime is way less. Way less. Way, way, way less. Even without shifting power as well. But yeah, Frost, Mage, fucking crazy good right now. And keep in mind, as I said, this is with no tier set for Midnight and no Apex talents. So keep that in mind. It's going to be crazy. Frost DK, I'm going to put this ahead of Arcane. Frost DK is still in a really, really good spot. Same thing, as it was in Season 3 of The War Within. Still in a very, very solid spot. Very good, very high damage, very, very good. Yeah, I mean, it's right under Dev. It's very, very good. Fury Warrior, okay? Instant fucking S tier, okay? Fury Warrior is crazy good right now. Now, I heard rumors that they are bugged with Odin's Fury and, stuff like that. Either way, okay? They're still S tier. Whether they are or not, they're still S tier, okay? Fury is in a very, very good spot. I really hope that they kind of stay in this spot, the SA range. It'd be really, really cool to see Fury up there again. Kind of like they were in Season 3 in The War Within, where they went from, like, Arms was the meta for Warrior, and then they redid our 4 set for Fury, and then we jumped up to fucking S tier, like we are currently. So, yeah, as I said, it'd be kind of cool to see, if Fury, would stay in A tier, but no matter what, as I said, very, very strong right now. Highly recommend, okay? Guardian Druid. I'm gonna keep it stacked with you, bro. The only reason that this is not in C tier, like it's still kind of good, but it's really bad at the same time, is it's Guardian Druid. It's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could fall asleep and you could still play Guardian Druid. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, Blood and Guardian just do not deal enough damage to compete with the other tanks. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. You could say, oh, their tankiness. Okay, sure. But this is specific, DPS. You know what I'm saying? The more DPS you do, the more shit that dies quick. You know what I'm saying? So, and surviving on any of these tanks is not an issue at all. This is, as I said, a DPS. Okay. But yeah, Guardian just does not deal that same amount of oomph, same as Blood, not the same oomph as the other tanks. Havoc, Demon Hunter, they are 100% going to get fucking nerfed. 100%. You run Fellscarred, your Immolation Aura and your Demon Surge does like 95% of your damage, and then you have I-Beam. Dude, this spec is out of control. I'm not going to lie. This spec is out of control. It is 100% going to get nerfed. Very, very, very incredible damage right now. Incredible. Probably, I think, well, okay, I don't know this for a fact, but probably the highest burst in the game currently. Unless you have like a no, even if you did have a fuck ton of ads, Aphid Frost probably would pull ahead a tiny bit. But either way, Havoc, incredibly good spec right now. Next thing, Holy Priest. This one, so I'm going to put healer-wise, because, we have Disc and we have Holy. Disc is more improved than Holy currently. I will put this in very high B tier. And the reason for that is because it is behind Disc, but it is still a very good healer, right? So in this example, right, for N+ and all that stuff, you can still deal pretty solid DPS. The healing is still there for both specs. That's what matters for healers, obviously. The healing is there for both specs. Disc does pull ahead in multiple cases, but healer, Holy is still there with its big flesh heals and Echo Light, all that stuff. It's still there. Same thing for H-Pal. H-Pal, you don't have to be in melee anymore, but it is in okay. From what I've seen, H-Pal does pull ahead of Holy Priest in multiple cases, but it's still not there up. It's still not up there with Disc. It's just not. But yeah. Still quite a good healer, but it's just not as powerful as Disc or the other two healers. Okay. Next thing, Marksman Hunter. Okay. I'm going to put this one in C tier. It's worse than Enhance Ellie, Destro, and Arms. But it's not the worst, it's not the best kind of deal, okay? It can still deal pretty good damage. Not nearly as much as A or S tier, but the damage is kind of ish still there. Not nearly as much oomph, but it is still kind of there, okay? Mistweaver Monk. This one, I'm actually really surprised, low-key, for some reason about this one. Mistweaver Monk. So in healers, okay, we have Holy in, kind of like high B tier. Disc in pretty, I'm going to put this ahead of like Brew. So kind of ish like, hey, A tier, high A tier. I'm going to put Mistweaver ahead of Disc by like 2 spots. Mistweaver is very, very, very powerful. I think it always really has been, especially in, last season. Like, really, honestly, I feel like all the healers had a really good spot. But right now, at least, Mistweaver and Disc they're competing in spots, right? So Disc and Mistweaver are still very, very good specs. Mistweaver pulls ahead because of how much, like, they have more CC, I feel like they have more sustain, depending on how you see it and how you play each spec. So, yeah, that's me. But as I said, based on healing and everything, and you still do pretty solid damage, but healing primarily higher than Discs, way more. There's a lot more sustain, especially when you're playing Fistweaver. Very, it's 24/7, right? So, still very good. Let's move on. Outlaw Rogue. And I was right. That was Sin Rogue. Outlaw Rogue. Not gonna lie. I'm going to put this right behind Locke. This... you know what? No, I changed my mind. This is in C tier. It's behind Marksman. Outlaw, currently, it feels very good to play, as a lot of people are saying. But it's just not there. The DPS is not there, man. It's horrible. It's not. Play sub. You know, it's not there. It's quite bad. Yeah. It's not this bad, but it is pretty bad. Preservation evoker. So like it's not worse than Feral Sin or Fire, but it's pretty fucking bad. I'm gonna keep it a stack. It's pretty bad right now. The healing's just not there. It's just not. Yeah, I mean that's really all I have to say. It's just not there. Prot Warrior. Okay, in my opinion, this shit goes in S tier. This shit is, dude. You run Mountain Thane, your Thunderclap does an unbelievable amount of damage. You can't lose aggro. Really, it's unbelievable. Prot Warrior. The only thing, and this is why it's an A tier in most other tier lists, is because the magic mitigation that they had, they kind of got rid of in some spots. So now when they get casted on, you know, if it's physical, they're fucking immortal. But if it's magic, they die in 2 hits, right? So it's low S tier. It's still very, very, very good. It is not it's not more improved than Prot Pally, of course, but it is still on the S tier for me. Because it does so much damage. You can't lose aggro with all your damage. It's really, really good. Next, as I said, Prot Pally, 100% ahead of Prot, 100%. Actually, just to make this more sense, I'm gonna do that. There we go. All right, but yeah, Prot Pally, 100% ahead of Prot Warrior. Okay, Prot Pally, they, you know, as everyone knows, they simplified pretty much all the specs, right? In line with that, Prot Pally, it's a lot more easier to play. You don't have to manage as much. And on top of that, your damage and self-sustain is still fucking massive. I mean, dude, Prot Pally is right in the S tier spot, right again. It's crazy. It's very, very good. Our Shaman. Holy fuck, this spec is crazy. Okay, this spec was crazy before, and it's still crazy. Now, you might be wondering, oh, well, Henry, they removed a lot of shit from our Druid. Our Shaman, you're right, they did, and it's still fucking crazy, as I said it would be, right? So, yeah, our Shaman is very, 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 very powerful right now. Very easily one of the top, easily one of the top healers in the game, no questions asked. The amount of healing that they can do, and the amount, like, they bring Sky Fury, they have Hero, you know, they have a lot of stuff with them that carries over in their kit, okay? So, yeah, very, very good healer. Exact same thing for our Druid. I'm going to put it behind our Shaman, specifically because they don't have as much util. Druid still has util in Cap Roar, Stampeding Roar, all that stuff. Soothe, you know, Druid has their own little kit of util. In my opinion, they're honestly, if I could put them like in the same spot, I would, but I can't. So, our Druid and our Shaman, both very, very, very good, very, very good healers. Easily top healers in the game right now. No questions asked. But yeah, there we go. So our Pally, okay, Rep Pally, okay. I'm gonna put this ahead of Arcane. Rep Pally is still in its very, very. I don't know if it was S tier in season 3 of the War Within, but it is still very good. It's under Frost and Dev and all that stuff, but in my opinion, it is ahead of Arcane and BM. The oomph is still there from season 3. They simplified it. It plays pretty much the exact same, but they simplified it so you don't have to worry about as much like with other stuff. But as I said, very, very powerful still. Not as powerful as these, obviously, but it's still very powerful. Okay. Shadow Priest. Dude. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna make this make more sense. Okay, here we go. So the healers, okay, we're good. Okay. We're good. So Shadow is, sorry, I fucked that up. Shadow is behind Enhance because it just does not deal as much damage as Enhance. But Shadow is still pretty solid overall. It's still very, very solid. I really like the whole like cultist feel of Shadow. I think it matches really, really well. So whoever did all of that, very, very cool. But as I said, DPS wise, spec is still there. It has the same kind of ish oomph, not as much as A or S tier, but it still has that big boom that you want out of Shadow Priest. Okay. Um, Next one, Sub Rogue, my personal favorite rogue spec. Okay. I'm gonna put this one ahead of Arcane. Uh, Sin Rogue. Sub Rogue is actually in a very, very good spot, and I would love if Sub Rogue could stay in this spot. It is in a very, very good spot. I easily one of the okay, not right now. These guys are the DPS at least are the by far the burstiest classes in the game. But Sub Rogue is kind of up there with them though, in a sense. Um, with Frost and Red, it's very, very good, very, very big boom, as it always really has in my opinion. But yeah, there's that. Survival, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put this one, I would put the Havoc and Survival in the same spot, but I cannot. Havoc Survival is in a very, very, very good spot. Survival, in other tier lists, Survival just overtakes all the others. Havoc, Fury, in my opinion, it's right there with Havoc, and I mean honestly, it's an S tier, right? I mean, right, the godly. All of these things are godly up here in S tier. A is like right underneath godly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Survival is fucking peak right now. It is unreal. Okay. Exact same thing with Unholy. I'm gonna put this ahead of Survival. Just right. Unholy, same exact thing. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. Their whole like necromancer, like minion summoner kind of deal. Very, very fun. It's just like DPS wise, it is very, very, very high. Very, very good. As it really, I think, always has been. But now instead of actually. And what I was about to say, instead of doing Sei Lin, you're doing Rider of the Apocalypse. But honestly, either way, whether you're playing Rider or Sei Lin, either way, it pumps. It fucking pumps. So, you know what I'm saying? Vengeance Demon Hunter. Okay, so tank-wise, okay, Brewmaster is like kind of like mid. Kind of like I'm going to put it like right here, right? Kind of like mid tank tier. In A tier, I'm gonna put it. I want to put them in the same spot. I'm gonna put it behind Brewmaster. Still a very, very good tank. The problem is you lose Sigil of Chains, and I don't think you can reduce the Sigil cooldown anymore either. So the CC like god that was Vengeance Demon Hunter and M+, they are no longer that anymore. You still have Sigil of Silence and Sigil of Flame, all that stuff. You don't have Sigil of Chains, and I don't think you can reduce the Sigil cooldown anymore. So as I said, the CD like god that was Vengeance Demon Hunter for I don't even know how long, they are not that anymore. Okay, they still have it, it's just way, way less. Okay, still a very, very good tank. Their healing is unbelievable, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's going to get nerfed, whether it's Soul Barrier, Soul Monger, just there's a lot of self-sustain with Vengeance Demon Hunter. Very, very good tank. Windwalker Monk. Okay. Windwalker Monk, I'm going to put this ahead of the Destro Lock. Okay, the reason for this is because I kind of clowned on Windwalker because they removed the Lightning Tiger. They removed all the cool shit, right? And we're playing Shadowpan for the big flurry strikes and all that stuff. So, you don't have all the Celestials with you as you did prior. But yeah, I mean, like, it's still a very good spec. You can burst pretty high as well. It is not nearly as good as Enhance or Shadow, but it is still kind of up there. You can still do pretty solid damage, pretty solid single target. Just not nearly as good as the others. Og Evoker. Okay, everybody knows. I know. Og Evoker is not. Hold up. Fuck. Hold on. Og Evoker. Okay. Okay. Take this with a grain of salt. It is an A tier. Okay. It is indeed an A tier. For now. the primary reason, specifically for raid and just in general, their ebb and might buff is now raid wide, so that is very, very huge. Just in general, their DPS, their burst is actually quite very high, surprisingly, even without any Apex talents or tier. But yeah, just in general, I mean, they burst very high. Their ebb and might, which their buff, it buffs raid wide now, which is, I mean, that's just fucking massive. That's just fucking huge. But yeah, DPS wise, still pretty solid. Single target, very good AOE, burst and sustain and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, plus you hand yourself free hero at the end of your Breath of Eons, so there's that too, right? So yeah, very, very good stuff from Og. Right now, I don't know what the fuck Blizz is doing with Og, but I guess we're gonna find out later. Not last, but certainly not least, Devour, the brand new Demon Hunter spec. Okay, this spec is, in my opinion, probably like the most fun to play right now. The visual effects, like all of this is very, 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 very good. Other than the DPS, okay. I'm gonna put this ahead of Marksman, okay. Here, I'm gonna put this on very low B tier. It is very high C tier, very low B tier, okay. So, as I said, the VFX, all of this stuff, it is very, very good. As a matter of DPS, however, it's just not there. Your collapsing star, it doesn't do enough damage. As a great example, the entire point of why you even go into meta, and like all that stuff, it's just like it doesn't do enough damage, right? Not only that, as I said, the play style is, as I said, they're like pretty much everything about the spec is very fun, but the DPS part is where it's fucking horrible at. You can still do pretty like solid DPS with it. It's just not nearly as high. Enhanced Shadow, even Arms, Ellie, right? Especially not these two rows, not even close to them. But yeah, so it is like the oomph is kind of there-ish with in according to a DPS spec. But they need to buff Collapsing Star. They need to buff something because it is not doing. It's not doing well. It is not doing well at all. But yeah, guys, that is my personal look with other tier lists and the patch notes, all that stuff. This is my M plus tier list. Right after this, I'm gonna make a raid tier list. Normally I make M plus tier list, but I think making a M plus tier list and a raid tier list, I think that's more informative and more helpful than just doing an M plus tier list. But yeah, this is my M plus pre-patch tier list. Okay, if you guys enjoy this content, man, if you want, you can hit me up with a subscribe, like, comment, anything, to push this video out there to more people, man. But yeah, that is the video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.